Dog Day Afternoon. This released in 1975 and was, oh my god, that was a weird voice crack. In 1975 and was based off of a bank robbery heist that happened in 1973. Um, uh, but I'm gonna talk about that after. The movie itself was really good. It had Al Pacino and the other guy from The Godfather, um, which they were both really good in this. Um, it was really interesting to see. There was some things, like there was like interesting things because halfway through the film, Al Pacino it reveals that Al Pacino's character, Sonny, is dating a trans woman who, and the reason he's robbing from the bank is to pay for the sex change operation. Um, and during that moment, one of the most interesting things I think the movie does is that the crowd who's been cheering them on for the whole movie flips opinion on them and starts booing them. And then there shows a shot of like the line of like the gay activists coming up and showing like signs and support. That was one of the most interesting things that the movie did was like the crowd's opinions and how like he was throwing money at the crowds and how the crowds was kind of helping him with the police. Um, that was kind of interesting. The most confusing part of the film was that in relation to uh, um, the trans woman, Sonny, which which was named Leon, uh, in the film, Sonny was both married to Leon and his previous wife, um, which it just doesn't really. It was really confusing because there was points where the police were saying like, "Oh, you have to pay child support," and it's just like, wait, but isn't he still married to his ex-wife? Or it was in real life his ex-wife. So they got divorced 2 years before he entered a relationship with Leon, which in real life Elizabeth Eden. So before they got married, he broke up. He already broke up with his wife, and like the line that makes sense then was that the cop was saying, "Oh, you have to pay child support. Maybe he's doing it for child support." That makes sense. But in the film, they played it like he was married to both people at the same time, which was really confusing to follow. Um, because there was this whole thing with like the kids and how he told the kids like he was leading this double life, which just in real life the guy wasn't. Um, but it was that one plot point where he was like married to both at the same time was so heavily confusing. But I bet you they did it for reasons. For him to be like have this conflict between his wife and his thing, and also for there to be like the big reveal because it's like the police are like, oh, get his wife, and so then they talk. It shows like scenes of the cops talking to his ex wife, and then uh like when like they come and like, oh, we have your wife in the area, it's like it's a man. What? I thought it was the other girl. Like it was probably for that moment. um which I will say, this is like pretty decent like on for like dealing with trans characters, especially like in like I said that it sounds bad, but I think the film really portrayed these people as people. I think this is a pretty good film to do that. I mean, it's a little outdated, of course, um, but like this is you got to think what came after this. What the Crying Game was like what 80s 90s, and that's like well after this, and that's like this film is like really good. I think on that part it doesn't like sell these characters short or write them off because they're one way. It's actually pretty decently handled, and I thought I wanted to tell you about that because this is not only a good film, but I just think it's a good thing. um Another thing was that I was watching with some people and they were saying like, "Oh, it's probably gonna be really violent because it's Al Pacino, right? And he's coming off The Godfather." It was not. It was not even remotely violent. There was like one person got shot, and they had like one pack of like fake blood for like it was on screen for maybe less than 5 frames. It's really not that violent of a film, and it was really all about the tenseness and like the goofy antics that these bank robbers are getting up to when robbing a bank. So, um, yeah, and then so in real life, Sonny, whose real name was John, said that it was only about 30% correctly portrayed in the movie. There have been some other portrayals of it. I actually remember as like a little kid watching for some reason there was a drunk history episode. If anybody knows what that show was, Drunk History, um, like I about this story, but told from more I think the trans woman's perspectives. And I looked it up actually, and it does exist. And it was this, and they did actually get a trans, actor to play that character, a trans femme actor. So that was really cool. Um, but that's a random side tangent. But there's been other stuff to portray this, I think, better. And there was like a movie that was like called like The Dog, which is like the dog in the real life of the dog in the days leading up to Dog Day afternoon. So and this movie is in the Library of Congress, although so was Despicable Me. But back in the 70s, that's kind of a big deal. Except I don't think it got added in the 70s. I think it got added later. But um, so one thing is that the real life guy for Sonny, John, he got the idea for doing a bank heist after watching Godfather, which is really funny because then they of course got Al Pacino to play the guy. So that's kind of like that would be like really cool. Be like watch a movie do something and then you have the actor in the movie do. That's just kind of cool. Um, and then there was also uh disputes over like whether he does it. So the movie fully puts it as he's doing the bank heist after um to pay for Elizabeth Eden's sex change operation. But in real life, and there was like articles by I think like the Village People was like, oh, he also kind of owed money to the mafia. That was like he intended to pay for that, but he was also just robbing a bank because he also was just in debt. So it solved two birds with one stone. But some people dispute it. It's like the guy himself disputed it, but he also apparently told the guy it's this whole thing. And I don't doubt that the guy probably owed some debts to somebody. I mean, robbing a bank thing for that seems kind of rash, but and even in the film, Leon, Elizabeth was like, "Oh, you don't like. Why are you doing this for me? I didn't tell you to rob this bank. Why are you robbing the bank?" And one other thing, about the film was that I kept mentioning Attica, and I did some research about it, and it was like apparently it was the most violent prison riot in America that actually won prisoners some rights that would, then of course removed in later years. America. Um. But that was an interesting rabbit hole to go down. Apparently, there's a John Lennon song based off of it, which I've heard before. But yeah. I mean, it was a good movie. It was a relatively short movie. Um, and if you're looking for like I think the category term is black comedy, but like a comedy that's kind of more comedic based off the situation that the characters are in, not than anything actually funny that people are saying. Then yeah, this is your film.